Hey, good morning. Yes, it's Friday. Welcome to Shop Talk. So today we're going to kind of just basically cover some of the talk about flat rate, and then I want to talk about emotional overload. And no, I'm not going to get gushy on you, but it's just good advice that all of us are going to go through, have gone through, will go through again. That how we as business owners, as we as self employed, and also we as employees in our everyday life will make a better outcome of the choices that we make concerning each. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today. Today is September 8th. So I thought we would just kind of go over a few things that we had talked about yesterday, and that was, the flat rate debate. Now, Randy, you had asked what's the average, what is the max for someone receiving flat rate? So I did a little bit of research, and it said that there was a swing from 17 to 32, 33, 34. And the average was right around 24, 25. I assume it's location, as we talk about. Live in an area where, rent is crazy, buying property is crazy. You as an employee need more money just to buy the essentials, where someone out in our area, rent still isn't that bad. You can still, it's cheaper to buy something than it is to rent it for homeownership. And everything else is less expensive. That's the key to getting out of the city. You're making the big bucks, yeah. But your bucks don't go any farther there than they would if you come out and took a job that was paying $8 to $10 less an hour to be out here in the country. When you could still buy an acre of land for under $1,000, and you can buy a home for 40 to 60,000, big difference. So along the same lines, when we talked about that, what caught my eye was Travis had said that it worked out great for him because he was knocking down 61 hours. So it kind of lost me, because if I'm a shop owner and I've got a mechanic that's doing 61 hours in a 40-hour work week, and he's giving me 61 hours of billables, and the customer's happy because the customer sees what the flat rate is, so he knows exactly what it's going to cost him. What's the beef? Because if you did it within the 40 hours, it's not like me, the business owner, is going to have to pay time and a half for the 21 hours that you had above the 40 billable hours. And the other thing that isn't taken into consideration is that if Travis had made a mistake on something and it came back for the same thing, then Travis would have to eat that, because he'd already been paid flat rate to do that, unless they could find a different part that failed or something else. Usually the mechanic is stuck with it, that they have to fix it for nothing. So I'm hoping Travis can kind of steer me in the right direction, because he's been pretty good here on the channel about making sure, I'm saying and doing the things that should be done. And so on that note, the other topic I want to talk about was, when it comes to being a business owner, whether you're self-employed or you're going to have employees, you have to be able to shoulder the weight. And at times it can be unbearable, but you still have to, just struggle through it. And one of the things that I see, and I've done it myself numerous times. I'm 60, I've had it happen a few times. As you get into that mindset of where you're blaming everybody else for the problems that are going on with you. And, well, it's this, or it's this, or it's this, And I'll tell you, it's easy to do because the last thing you want to do is have to admit that you're the one that is screwing up. You can't have that mentality and be a boss or be an owner for very long. If you're always passing the buck to somebody else, then what really happens? Well, if it's somebody else's fault, per se, then there's no way you can fix it because you have no control over all them people that you're complaining about and saying that it's them. The only one you have control over is yourself. So if you own it, then you can deal with it and move on. If you don't own it, then you're going to become helpless because it's going to continue happening and you won't have the power to fix it because you're still too busy blaming everybody else. And I think that's where a lot of people fail in trying to be a business owner and even being a boss or a good employee. You have to own everything that goes on in your life because if you don't own it, then you have no way to fix it. Yes, you're going to run into some things in life that is your fault, that there is no fix to, that you just have to, move on and make sure it doesn't happen again. But having that mentality, I can tell you from past history, it's easy to slide into it. Oh, it's the mechanic's fault. Oh, it's the parts person's fault. Oh, it's this person's fault. No. If you're a business owner, it's your fault because you have to manage them employees. You see what I'm getting at? Maybe the parts person is screwing up or making mistakes. But as the owner, that's your problem. Your shop is making mistakes. Your business is making mistakes. So as a shop owner, you need to correct those mistakes. If you keep passing the buck, you can't correct them because they're out of your hands. And the other thing along the same lines is, of how what someone said, hurt your feelings and screwed up the whole day. And let's be honest. People can't make you feel diddly squat. Only you have that control. If somebody, as simple as growing up in grade school and high school, we used to have sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And I'll tell you, we used to have a lot of names put out there of, just name calling, but then we'd make up and be good friends. So that was school. But what somebody else says does not define you or define the day that you're having, unless you allow it. If you have a customer come in first thing in the morning, let's say into the shop at 8 to pick up their piece of equipment, and they're not happy with the bill, they think it's shoddy workmanship, yada, 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 they're bitching and complaining. and you get through it, and you go ahead, you get the money from the customer leaves, and then you feel like crap the rest of the day. And now your mechanic feels like crap the rest of the day because of what this person had said. What I'm saying is, don't let that other person define you and ruin your whole day. And if I had a mechanic overhear that and it was really bothering them, I'd say, don't let it define you. 99.9% of the work that goes out of here that everybody's happy with, and I guarantee you that person, once they settle down, will apologize. But if you sat there and simmered on it for all day or all week, then you're giving your power up to somebody else. I'm not saying to not have empathy for people. Sympathy never gets anybody anywhere. But empathy, yes. You don't know. They could be having a bad day. They could be having money issues. They could be having, husband and wife. They're having marital issues. You don't know what's going on behind that scene. So they're just lashing out. So as a business owner and as an individual, even in your everyday life, when you encounter this, my daughter, she used to say, Dad, that it just ruined my whole day. Why? Why did you allow it to ruin your whole day? Well, because it's what this person thought of me. Okay, but that person has no way of controlling how you feel. Do they? And I'm guilty myself of falling into that trap. Have you ever had a thing where a problem on your plate and you simmered on it all day long, you got home at night, you couldn't sleep, you're just going over again in your head, and then you get up in the morning and partway through the morning that problem resolves itself? That's what I'm getting about. Don't let other people's control your emotions, how you feel. I'm not saying if everything is going to hell, be a happy camper. No, not even the least. What I am saying is that in our public and private life, we're going to encounter this. And when I find somebody striking out at me, or name calling, what have you, I try to figure out what's going on behind the scene with them. I'll have empathy if they're having problems. Been there, struggle through it myself. But they are going to ruin my whole day. I'm going to just put it off here in the shelf. And if there's something that I can do about it that minute, I'll do it. If there's not, and it's not being egotistical or narcissistic traits if you do that. Because those two traits could give a rat's ass about anybody, anywhere, anytime. And they need to be continually propped up, as far as I'm concerned, of being told that they're so great. No, I mean just keeping your emotions in check. One is, not passing the buck to somebody else and owning it so you can at least fix it. And the other is not allowing someone else to dictate how you feel. Especially if you're going to feel terrible all day long. Because what I found in life, you're sitting there, you're stewing on something, and you're worried about that individual and how they think about you. And the big thing in life is Most people have their heads so far up their own asses that they haven't got time for you. And I can remember at one point in time that still makes me laugh to this day. My wife, I'm going on and on about, how bad a day I had and this and that, and wonder what's going on with this person. And thinking that person is thinking and saying things about me all the time. My wife just looked straight at me. She said, "You know what? You're not that important." I was kind of shocked. I said, "What?" She goes, "Look, Eric, you're not that important." And I stopped and just went, what the hell is she saying? And what she was saying was 100% true. Is you are not that important to have somebody sitting there stewing about you all day long. They're out doing their own thing. They may have come by and called you an asshole and a dirty, rotten whatever and took off and never given you a thought the rest of the day while you're sitting there giving them a thought all day long and stewing over it. You see what I'm saying? So you need to not let other people control how you feel. And that's very much so if you're in business, and you're the owner, but that kind of comes into everyday life, whether it's siblings, family, friends, best friends, don't allow other people to define how you feel at any given time. Only allow you to define it. The whole point of today's video is, a number of you that are watching this channel are wanting to become self-employed and business owners, and the other part is a lot of you guys that are already business owners may fall into this trap, or you are gonna have these issues from time to time. And it's how we deal with things that defines us. And that is, if we pass the buck and we allow other people to control our emotions, that's going to hinder us as far as being business owners. It's going to hamstring us and stop us from doing things we would normally have done that would have been good for the business. Doing nothing when it comes to the business is one that business will be out of business in a short time. You have to continually put your time in and muddle through this stuff. And I talk about it because it's happened to me before, of passing the buck, blaming other people for the problems. And it's also happened to me numerous times of catching me at the right time where I just feel bad for, because somebody didn't say nice things about me per se, especially if it's a customer. And you as a shop owner, you as a self-employed person, have to be able to weather the storm and come out on the other side. If you can't deal with these two aspects that I know you are going to encounter, and you probably already have numerous times, then you will not weather the storm. And what I also would like in the comments, you guys that are shop owners right now or even self-employed, how do you deal with this? What's your best advice to the people on the channel, other business owners? Because I'll tell you, not everybody that's watching our channel is just into small engines. Some are into automotive, some are into, but business is business. I don't care what business you're in. It's a lot of the same essentials, a lot of the same tips, a lot of the same everything. So today's episode of Shop Talk will cover a wide spectrum of any business or any self-employment. So how do you guys get through it? And what are your suggestions to other people, including myself? I'm always learning. You guys are teaching me as well how to handle things. So on that note, folks, do have a great Friday, and we'll see you back here on Monday morning. All right, you guys have a great day and a great weekend. Thanks so much for watching.